Alright guys, today we will be reading not the rest, but Diary of a Wimpy Kid RODRICK rules, so let's just get into it. Monday. I was up at Riley's house playing board games yesterday. The craziest thing happened. When Riley was in the bathroom, I noticed that there was some play money sticking out of a box of one of the other games. I couldn't believe my eyes because the play money was the exact same kind of money Mom uses for Mom bucks. When I counted it up, there was like $100,000 in cash inside that box. It took me about 2 seconds to figure out what to do next. What should we play now? I gotta go. When I got home, I ran upstairs and stuffed the money under my mattress. I tossed and turned all night trying to figure out what to do with my new Mom bucks. I realized Mom would probably have some way of knowing the difference between phony Mom bucks and the real thing. So this morning I decided to try a little experiment. I asked Mom if I could cash in some Mom bucks so I could buy stamps to write my pen pal. I was really nervous when I handed Mom the play money, but she took it without even blinking. I can't believe my luck. I figure I can make this 1,000th last all the way through high school, and maybe even farther. I might not even have to get a real job later on. The trick will be to not cash in too much at one at a time, or Mom will think something is up. And I have to remember, I to earn a few Mom bucks for real here and there, so she doesn't get too suspicious. I'll say one thing for sure though, and it's that I won't be using any of the money Mom gave me to buy stamps. I got a picture from my pen pal, Mamadou, in the mail yesterday, and that pretty much killed my chance of me writing him back. Super cool. Tuesday. My big history paper is due tomorrow, but they've been saying all week that it's gonna snow about 8 foot tonight. So I haven't really been sweating it all that much. At around 10 a.m., I peeked out the window to see how many inches of snow there were on the ground. So far, I couldn't believe my eyes when I pulled back the curtain. Man, I was counting on school being canceled tomorrow. I turned on the news to see what's happening, but the weather guy was telling a totally different story than he was 3 hours ago. We really dodged a bullet this time, Bob. You can say that again. Bah ha 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 ha. This meant I had to get cracking on my history paper. The problem was it was late to go to the library, and we don't have any books in our house that are around the 1990s, so I knew I had to think of something quick. Then I had a great idea. Dad has bailed RODRICK out a million times on his school papers, so I figured I could get him help too. I told Dad about my situation, thinking he'd jump right in to help, but I guess Dad has learned his lesson in that department. Good luck with that. RODRICK must have overheard me talking to Dad because he told me I should follow him downstairs. You know how RODRICK and Mr. Huff, an history teacher in middle school? Well, it turns out Mr. Huff gave RODRICK class the exact same assignment when he was in my grade. RODRICK dug around in his junk drawer and found his old paper, and then he told me he'd sell it to me for $5. I told him there was no way I'd do that. I'll admit it was pretty tempting because, number one, since all of RODRICK's assignments have gone through Dad, I knew RODRICK got a good grade on his paper, and number two, it was in one of those clear plastic binders that teachers go crazy for. Plus, I had a huge stash of Mom books under my mattress upstairs, and I knew I could pay RODRICK with that. but I couldn't do it. I mean, I've copied off of people's papers on quizzes and stuff before, but buying a paper off someone would be taking it to a whole nother level. So I decided I was just gonna have to suck it up and do the paper myself. I started doing some research on the computer, but all at about midnight, the worst thing happened. The power went out. That's when I knew I was in some serious trouble. I knew I'd flunk the history test if I didn't turn in a paper. So even though I didn't want to, I decided to take Rogers up for it. I scrapped up a whole $500 in mom books and went down in the basement. But RODRICK didn't let me pay off that easy. My fee has gone up. RODRICK told me his new price was $20,000 in mom bucks. I told him I didn't have it, so he just rolled over and went back to sleep. At that point, I was really desperate, so I went upstairs and grabbed a big handful of $1,000 bills and brought them down in RODRICK's room. I gave him the money, and he turned over the paper. I really felt bad about what I did, but I just tried not to think about it and went to sleep. On the bus ride to school, I took RODRICK's paper out of my bag, but I took one good look at it and knew something was seriously wrong. First of all, the poem wasn't even typed out. It was in RODRICK's own handwriting. That's when it hit me. Dad only started doing RODRICK's papers for once he got in high school, so that meant this paper was RODRICK's own work. I started reading RODRICK's paper to see if I could still use it. Apparently, RODRICK was even worse about doing his research than me. 100 years ago. Sometimes I sit and wonder about stuff I don't know, like what the heck the Earth was like 100 years ago. Did cave-ins raid dinosaurs? Did flowers grow? Well, we could guess, but that was back 100 years ago. I wish they built a time machine and they picked me to go to check out what this scene was like 100 years ago. Did giant spiders rule the earth? Were desert filled with snow? I wonder what the story was 100 years ago. I guess I learned my lesson about buying a paper off of someone, or at least at RODRICK. When third period rolled around, I didn't have anything to turn into Mrs. Hoff's. I guess that means I'll be taking summer school for history. And my day got a whole lot worse after that. When I got home from school, Mom was waiting for me at the door. You know the stack of bills I paid RODRICK? Well, he tried to cash them all in at once to get money for a used motorcycle. I'm sure Mom knew something was fishy since RODRICK had never earned a single mom book on his own. RODRICK told Mom where he got the money, and she dug around in my room until she found my stash under the mattress. Mom knew she never put $100,000 into circulation, so she confiscated all my cash, even the ones I earned for real. I guess that's the end of the Mom Bucks program. To be honest with you, I'm kind of relieved sleeping on that pile of cash every night was really stressing me out. Mom was mad that I tried to put one over on her like that, so she gave me a punishment, but I got that out of the house before dinner. Mom said we have to clean the whole garage. Shoot. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this chapter. If you guys want to see the next one, comment and like and subscribe. And we'll be back tomorrow. Peace.